The following program is sponsored by Friends of Life Outreach International. Coming up, Robert Morris helps you navigate the journey from dream to destiny and prepare for the extraordinary future God has planned.
But many of us live with the dream instead of in the destiny. And the reason is because we don't pass those tests. Now, here's the great thing about God. He's so good that when you fail a test, He'll just let you take it again.
Well, you need to know I'm excited about everything you enable us to do for His glory, especially for the people who are hurt and overlooked. But please hear me. You know, we got one of our best friends on this planet and one of the most popular people on this planet, one of the most appreciated and respected, and rightly so, and that's our pastor, Robert Morris. Now listen to me. We could sit here. He's going to be on all week. We could sit here and we could rejoice in the glory of God in our lives, ministries, and families. But here's what he really impressed me to encourage you to hear this. He wants to invite all of us into the shadow and shelter of His presence, power, and oversight. And you have no idea what sheep who live in that watch care of that shepherd will experience. And when I was praying, he said, James, I sure would like for them to know and experience what I long for them to experience and express. So that's the reason we're here all this week. Now, I'm going to be giving away a book. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to be asking everybody to read this book this year. Betty, you know, you've read it. My assistant, who reads all the famous people's books, she read all the way through it, I think, in a week or just over. Here, 12 years of prayer and effort on two people's parts, mine and Jay Richards. This is what carried the founders and led them to the birth of the nation. These are the principles that have to be in place, that cannot be hidden or cast aside. And any relationship starting with marriage, family, business, athletics, nations, entertainment, none of it can stand firm, reliable, and secure without all these principles in place. And if we read this as a people, we will have a direction, a nation correcting course and totally transformed, I believe, in less than 24 months. The greatest awakening in history. That's the power of the principles. So we're going to be giving it away. But Robert is here to talk about a book that I heard him preach all these truths, Dream to Destiny. And this isn't just like your dream to some kind of fantasy destiny. This is his dream for you and the destiny he has designed and desires for you. And you're going to love this. So Robert's here, and I want to tell you something. You're going to be blessed. Robert, you and I have been together, you told me before we walked out here, 42 years. But I want us to actually find out that we actually started. When did we first meet?
We first met when you came to Longview, Texas, which was shocking to me because you were preaching in, Los Angeles and Tulsa and Atlanta, and here you came to our little city.
Big stadiums.
And I
came to
really feel like it was because, your friends were there,
Yeah.
You knew Billy Foote. Yeah, that was your best man, your wedding. And so, but you came and preached at our church on Sunday morning before the crusade. And I stayed back to try to meet you, and I waited outside the pastor's office. I was 8 years old, 8 years old. And you came out, the biggest man I'd ever seen in my life. Darkest hair,
You can't tell watching on television, I'm 6'3", okay?
Yeah. So, but I mean, you were, I just knew. I mean, there was something there that God had put in my heart, and I remember telling you when I grow up, I want to be like you, and I want to preach. I want to a lot of people. I wanted to help a lot of people, not just be in front of people, but help them. And you said, "Well, I want to pray for you," and you prayed for me, and then you got the Bible that you had preached from that morning, and wrote a note to me. And what you wrote was, "I have nothing to prove. I have someone to please."
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never forgotten that to this day.
Praise God.
And you gave me that Bible when I was 8 years old.
May it always be true. Then you met me as a teenager and Betty. How old were you?
18 years old, and Debbie and I got to come to your home. Yeah.
Okay. Now then, you started working with me. How old were you?
I was 20 then.
So that's how many years back?
Well, then they'll know my age if I say that. 42. 42 years ago.
All right. Well, you and I have walked together because you went with me at all those big crusades, and I couldn't do all the high schools. You know, there were times when I'd be invited in the high schools, and I just talked to kids about living with respect for authority, with respect for truth, and respect for one another, and their morality and drugs and alcohol and all the things, sexuality out of control. But you started going to the schools for me because I couldn't keep up with all of them. I'm speaking at every Kiwanis club, at all the different various lodges, the women's clubs. I'm going to leadership meetings, and so you went to the schools and you would turn all the kids out. It was amazing. Okay, so we've been ministering together a long time, and then you started Gateway just over 20 years ago, and a lot of our viewers were your first members. I know because I was sitting out there with them and thanking God. Okay, so you've been on quite a journey. Now, Dream to Destiny, God has one for everybody. And later this week, the people are going to meet your son, who is the pastor, but going to be the one who will ultimately step into your place. Doesn't mean you're going to quit preaching, because that's the last thing you're going to do. But you're going to hear it, but you're going to meet James. But anyway, the deal is that God put this on your heart, and publishers know this has had to be published. So I want us to talk about it. What is it you want the reader and the viewer today to hear from God that you're trying to communicate through the book?
Well, I was going to speak to our young adults at the church, and we kind of set an age group of 18 to 29 for our young adults. So I was thinking to myself, 18 to 29. 18 to 29, what do they need to hear? And immediately when I thought of those two ages, I thought, well, Joseph was 17 when God gave him a dream. You know, he didn't have to wait till he was 50 to be used by God. Our students, our teenagers can be used by God. So he was 17 when he got the dream, and he was 30 when he became second in charge in the nation of Egypt. So stepped into his destiny. And I just thought dream to destiny. So what I'm trying to say to everyone is God has a dream for your life. God does. These dreams were from God, and God has a destiny. But then I started thinking about how God took him through some testings in his life to prepare him for the destiny, not to cause him to fail, but to prepare him. And I just felt like, you know how I am with alliteration.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he went through the pride test, where he bragged about him. He went through the pit test, and wasn't even, in some ways it was his fault, and in some ways it wasn't his fault.
Thrown in by his family.
Thrown in by his family, that's right. He went through then the palace test, where he was tested, you know, with stewardship. He was tested in the purity test, which he actually passed that test.
Wow.
But then he got thrown in the prison. So there's the prison test.
Yeah.
So he goes through all these, and then even after he steps into his destiny, we still go through tests. We're not finished learning at that time. You and I are still learning at our age. Okay. So, and he went through like a prosperity test where for 7 years he prospered.
By the way,
what was he going to do with it?
That's a huge test.
That's a huge test.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
That's a
not
huge
money,
test.
not
Right.
having money,
Right.
but money having you, or you just being in love with it, is the source and root of all forms of evil.
Yeah.
Understand? Money's not evil. If it has you, it becomes evil. The love of it is evil because it opens the door to evil. Excuse me. I didn't mean to preach.
No, that was good. So that's exactly what happened, because you think about it, you said he saved 2 nations, and of course there were other nations
absolutely.
that came and brought grain.
Absolutely.
But if he hadn't have saved it, If he hadn't been a good steward during those 7 years,
They would have perished.
he couldn't have done anything during the 7 years of famine.
Yep.
Here's another big test he went through, the pardon test.
Wow.
In other words, when his brothers came back, would he pardon them? Would he forgive them fully? Because he even makes one of the greatest statements of the Bible. He said, God sent me here to preserve your lives and the lives of others.
Wow.
And then, of course, we have the statement about you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And I can tell you, even just from personal experience, I felt like I had someone that did me wrong, and I just couldn't get over it. And, you know, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and think about it. And what you would do, what I would do, is I would rehearse my speech to explain to this person why he was wrong. And it's like I was rehearsing it, and it's like I was keeping God up. It's like he wanted to get some sleep too, you know. And so all of a sudden, it was like the Lord just said, "Would you just shut up? You know, would you just stop? Just forgive him, forgive him." And I said, "But Lord, he was wrong." And he said, "Of course he was wrong. That's why you forgive him. You don't forgive people who are right." It's like the biggest revelation. I don't. If you bake me a chocolate cake, I'm not going to say I forgive you for baking me a chocolate cake. It's when you had. So the other person is wrong.
Yeah.
We have to know that, but that's why we forgive them. But we were wrong,
Yes.
and God forgave us.
In too many ways, in almost virtually every way.
You know, talking about God's destiny for us is what we're, isn't that right? What
Yes,
we're talking about.
that's it.
How important, and I know in my own heart is, but for people that are listening, how important is the journey toward that destiny? Because I feel like the journey God's had us on, it's been overall blessed. I've been privileged, but there's been a lot of heartache on the journey too. But so many important things God wants to teach us on this journey toward his destiny for our lives.
Yeah, and see, that's the whole point of the book, Betty, is that all of us have a dream, and it's probably implanted by God. We might mess it up a little bit, but God's put it there. And we have a destiny he wants us to fulfill. But many of us live with the dream instead of in the destiny. And the reason is because we don't pass those tests. Now, here's the great thing about God. He's so good that when you fail a test, he'll just let you take it again.
He's faithful.
And he'll let you take it over and over and over, the pardon test or whatever it is, until you pass it.
You know, this is something, and I kind of knew this and might have implied it, but it hit me full force. Oftentimes, the subheading is actually more important than the title. And the subheading not only will perhaps give you an indicator of what's in the book, but it will actually give you a clear picture of what can come out of reading this book and letting this book literally be absorbed into your life and into your mind. Listen to this. A proven guide to navigating life's biggest tests and unlocking your God-given purpose. If you will allow his purpose for you to be revealed to you and then fulfilled through you, it is the highest level of fruitfulness in life and fullness in life. It's losing your life in his purpose to find it, which his purpose is God's will through you, kingdom purpose fulfilled. Isn't that a powerful statement? And am I right? If people get the truths you've shared openly, clearly, in simplicity that anybody can get, if they become applied truth, they are going to experience a miracle of God.
And as you said, I shared them, but I didn't make them up. The reason they're proven is they're from the Bible.
That's right.
They are from Scripture, and it's proven that Joseph fulfilled God's destiny in his life because of overcoming these tests.
Robert, we will spend the rest of our life trying to get people to reach the destiny, the design, and the desire he has for them. And he alone knows what's best. I think you believe, because we heard it when you preached it, this is expanded and clear. I think you believe it can change their lives.
I believe it with all my heart, because every person has a purpose. Every person. And you and Betty have been used to help and to feed and to reach millions of people. But there are a lot of people you guys will never meet. You'll never meet them. Your kids will never play on the same soccer team as someone else's kids. You'll never be there. And when they go through a difficulty, maybe in their marriage or something, they're going to turn to someone who's watching the two of you, and they're going to say, I need help. And I see a difference in your life.
Exactly.
So every person watching has a purpose from God.
And everybody can reveal his purpose to others. You are here to be a light in a dark world and not allow that light to be hidden or covered by anything. It's on a lampstand. And the salt does not lose its effect of adding not only flavor to life, but adding life to life, preserving life and everything that's precious. That's why we're here. Robert, I want everybody that's watching to get the book. We will send it to everybody that helps us put God's arms around trafficked children and girls that are being sexually abused. We'll be sending the book, Fight the Good Fight for Any Gift. And we have other gifts for you, but here's what we're asking you to do. And our viewers, you love the fact that we at Life, and Betty and I have gone all over the world. Our team's been to 70 nations to be involved. Betty and I traveled, well, I traveled for 35 to 40 years, and too much away from my family. Then we traveled to the ends of the earth. And we went into the third world to help the overlooked, the desperate, the dying, the starving, the thirsty. And then we found the trafficked. And you, when we showed them to us, when we showed them to you, we didn't think you'd want to see them again. You made us show them to the world so you could put God's arms around them. So we want you to help us continue to set the sexual traffic free. Some of our donors cared so deeply. Like I said, you made us, you insisted that we keep helping them all over the world, and we have. Some of our donors have given a matching gift of $320,000. That's a lot I want to help. So would you watch this, and then would you help us rescue one of these girls or boys? The average cost for a year is $128. It'll rescue one. Since it'll be doubled, you'll rescue two. $1,280, rescue 10, now 20. We're asking you to do what you can, but I want you to watch this, and then you ask God, what do you want me to do? He'll not only lead you, he'll enable you to do it. Watch.
ភាក់ថាទៅធ្វើការហ្នឹងទៅធ្វើការហូបតុកលើកម្ហូបអីឲ្យភ្ញៀវហើយទៅវាដាក់ថ្នាំខ្ញុំឲ្យដេកហើយងើបឡើងគេធ្វើអីខ្ញុំហើយ
From the bright lights to the brothels, on any given night all around the world, there are millions of young girls who thought they were going to work in a legitimate job only to find themselves in a situation just like Kim, where their lives were turned upside down by sex traffickers. And that's where Life Outreach's partners step in to rescue girls who have been forced into prostitution by human traffickers.
Whenever we're able to arrest a trafficker, it's a huge win, because not only does it mean that place is shut down, but that might mean that tens or maybe even hundreds of girls won't be trafficked because of that.
SWAT raids are just one of the means our mission partners use to rescue girls. Others will reach out one-on-one and befriend girls who feel trapped in the world of sex trafficking. Once girls are taken into our mission partners' safe houses, their lives are forever changed.
I want to see them to have a safe place to stay. I want them to have people in their life who they can trust. And I want them to keep fighting for a better future and fighting for the goal that they have in life. And I want to see them still living with hope, because I believe that when they come here, it's not an accident. God plans for them, and His plan always for good.
Betty a moment ago when we saw those girls in the beds, crawling out one of the beds. Had so many, watch our grandchildren grow up. Not long ago they were that age. Now we got all the great grandkids coming up. Didn't it break your heart to see those precious girls being used as an instrument of evil and self-gratification?
It really does. And the trusting soul of a precious little one. Someone offers you help or food, something to drink. These little children, they're going to accept it. And then they take them under false pretenses. They feed them, and in their food they have drugged them. And then when they wake up, they're being raped and abused, and just all kinds of horrible things happening to them. I just can't even imagine. It breaks my heart. And I know as you're watching it, must you too, because you have children maybe, you have grandchildren, you have those that you love so much. Let's please reach out and help these little ones. They don't have a chance if someone doesn't care about them. And God tells us we're to care about the little children and love them because He does. So help us, won't you?
It's breaking my heart to think that men can be so twisted that they would want to use one of those little girls. And 747s go, more of them from the U.S. than any nation, to sex capitals of the world. And here's the sad thing. Many of them are stirred to that extreme sexual appetite by exposure to pornography. And now then, many of them are exposed to that pornography by the greatest free nation in the world and the greatest producer of pornography in the world, the United States. And we are causing the men to have appetites out of control that puts them where they would use those precious little girls, and then where the people would sell them and tell them that they're going to give them a job, and they've never had a job, and they've never had money, and they've never had opportunity, and then they not only use them, and like the little girl woke up and she's being raped, and then they get them on drugs, and they will hold them there. If they can hold them for 20 or 30 years, they will, until they've just worn them out and destroyed them. And we're setting them free. And you are building the greatest rescue houses on the planet. And you're changing lives. And many of the little girls we started helping years ago are now leaders in their communities. They're teachers, they're professors. There are one or two of them that are mayors. And I heard one of them was a governor that came through the sex trafficking, that God's love through you rescued. I am asking you right now to go get your bank card and use it like a check. You should always use them that way, but use it like a check. Dial the number or go online. Do it, please. Go get it. And would you rescue a girl? Would you make a $128 gift that will be double now, and you won't rescue one but two? And I always ask everybody to expand their vision. Is there any way you could rescue 10 with a $1,280 gift? And know right now you'll be rescuing 20. Please, God, please, whatever you can do, we have gifts to send you that will be a blessing to you. I'm going to send you a book, Fight the Good Fight. 12 years in the effort with Jay Richards together. You will be blessed. Would you please right now get that card, write a check, make it to life, but call us and tell us you're putting it in the mail. We've got to know you're going to help. Thank you so much.
Innocent children and young people longing to be loved and cared for are being abducted and sold at the hands of violent predators, forced into the evil industry of human trafficking. Through Mission Rescue Life, you can reach out to warn children who are at risk for sex trafficking, rescue those already enslaved, and restore young lives and give them a future. With a generous $320,000 matching gift, now your gift of $128 to help rescue one child can be doubled to help two children. Your $64 gift will be matched to help save one child from the horrors of human trafficking. And a $32 Mission Rescue gift will be doubled to $64. With your gift today, we'll send you the brand new book from James Robison and Jay Richards, Fight the Good Fight. This book will open your eyes to what's at stake and the unwavering truth that God isn't finished with our nation. It's time to fight the good fight and return to unshakable biblical principles. With your gift of $128 or more, you'll receive the NIV Large Print Thin Line Bible, This easy-to-carry, easy-to-read NIV Bible with comfort print allows you to take in more of God's Word each time you open your Bible. Finally, please consider a gift of $1,280, which will now help save 20 children, and you may request our inspiring bronze sculpture, A Cup of Water. Please call, write, or make your gift online.
If a child goes across this border illegally in the hands of a human trafficker, the chances of finding them becomes nearly impossible. We have mission partners at this border crossing that are trained to intervene. They're trained to recognize and know what to look for when it comes to potential children being victimized. I have confidence in you, our mission partners, that we can work together to make sure that a mom and dad never have to wake up with the fear and the tragedy and the pain of knowing their child is gone. We desperately need to tell our mission partners, listen, there's more oil coming for your lamp. There's more resource coming. You can hire more staff. You can stay longer. You don't have to be afraid of running out, because Life Outreach and the Partners of Life are promising you that we're going to be there to help for the long haul.
Thank you so much. You may have totally saved somebody's life in future. Remember, for any gift we're sending, Fight the Good Fight, read it, apply it, do it immediately. We'll also today, if you just simply help us rescue them, we'll also send you Robert's book. Of course, you can tell all your friends, get one online, get it in the bookstores. Robert's going to be back, and he's got another book he wants to talk about. And then later in the week, you go meet the pastor that follows him. Don't miss it. Robert, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. And I was just thinking how you've supported us all these years, and you know this, but we've supported you too.
Big time.
Gateway, every year since the founding of Gateway Church. And I want to say something that I know you'll hear it right. We don't support you just because you're our friend. We support you because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
We support you because I've been on the field, Debbie and I went too, and several times, and we saw that Life Outreach is one of the most effective ministries that we've ever seen. Missions ministries. We love you.
Thank you. I know you mean that. We love you. Thank you for helping us love others with His love. God bless you. Don't miss tomorrow.
Why don't you come to me? I'll be your refuge, hide under my wing, and you can rest your head, and don't you worry, don't you worry, dear.
There's a test. It has 613 questions. If you miss one, if you just miss one, you fail.
Life Today is made possible by the supporters of Life Outreach International. Your gift will be used exclusively for the exempt purposes of life. The ministry features specific outreaches as examples of the programs it supports and conducts. Gifts are considered to be without restriction as to use unless explicitly stipulated by the donor. The ministry is a member of the ECFA.